Welcome to Balanced Life with Debbie Carlin Boyle. Conversations connecting to a healthier you. The show that gives you all the latest and greatest health and wellness information to inspire you to live a life of balance and joy. Debbie Carlin Boyle is a health and nutrition coach, personal trainer, and fitness instructor who helps her clients live in balance with everything that feeds us, in addition to the food on our plate. Please welcome your host, Debbie Carlin Boyle.
Hello, welcome everybody. Welcome. Hey, if you guys are listening to us live today is 2/22/22. It is 2 p.m. Pacific Standard Time right now, so it's a lot of twos, and there's meaning behind it, and we're going to talk about that with my guest today. So welcome live. If it's not live, welcome to you too. You've hit Balanced Life with me, your host, Debbie Carlin Boyle. I'm conversations that connect to a healthier you. I find people and services and products that are in the business of health and wellness that can help us reach longevity with quality. And who doesn't want that? So that's what this show is all about. We have a great discussion today. I haven't done a show like this. I'm really excited for my guest. But before we get started, I want to tell you a little bit about myself. I am a health and nutrition coach. I'm a personal trainer and a fitness instructor. And I help people find balance in everything that they do. So it's sleep, it's nutrition, it's career, it's your artistic abilities or creative abilities, it's your relationships. It's so many things that have to come together besides the food on our plate for us to feel good and have that longevity with quality. And it always helps to work with a coach or have somebody kind of cheer you on. And I can be that person for you. And right now, if you go to my website, which is Balanced Life by Debbie, DEBI.com, I'm giving away a free detox. It's a 3-day detox. It's easy recipes. They help you feel lighter and really clear-headed. Your skin looks good. All these things are made to nourish you with all the vitamins, minerals, and nutrients that our bodies need to feel good. So, of course, food is information, and this food on this detox gives the proper information to receive those nutrients. So check that out. Also, I invite you to my YouTube channel. Please subscribe if you can. It's Balanced Life by Debbie, YouTube. And just hit the subscribe button. It's free, and all the shows that I have are there. I've got well over 200 shows in the health and wellness field. So any question that you may have or anything you want to look up, just scroll down. There'll be a show there. So I appreciate your time to do that, and I also appreciate you being here with me today. And today we have a great discussion because I really, the power of the mind is something that's really important and strong, and I think overlooked. So today we're going to talk about, did you know that you could overcome disease and so much more with the power of your subconscious mind? So my guest today, Norman Plotkin, helps his clients to do just that. After a 25-year career as a public policy consultant and lobbyist, Plotkin battled cancer and emerged with a new perspective. He went back to school and became a certified clinical hypnotherapist. He wrote a book on taking charge of your health challenges and began to advocate for people instead of companies. Currently tending to his private hypnotherapy practice and leading virtual group meditation sessions, Norman published his second book, Mastermind, Master Life. Love that. And he's working on his third, which he's going to tell us about today. So let's unlock how we can master our mind and master our life. Will you please welcome my guest, Norman Plotkin, to the show? Hi, Norman.
Hello.
Welcome.
Great to be here. Thank you.
Thank you. I found you just less than a week ago, and I really appreciate you filling in for somebody who had to postpone today. So thank you, and what a joy to have found you. I forgot to give out the telephone number, and before we get into it, I want to do that. So if you want to become part of this conversation, because that's what we are, conversations that everybody can get involved, there's a couple of ways you can do that. You can call in. The number here is 323-524-2599. Again, 323-524-2599. Or you can go to my Facebook page, Balanced Life by Debbie, where I'm streaming live right now. Write a question, make a comment, anything you want to say regarding our discussion today. I or my guest or myself will get back to you on any comment that you make. So there you have it. Thank you. I appreciate if you want to get involved in the conversation. So Norman, welcome. Thank you for being here again. I love what you do. I find it so interesting that what I talked about with you over the phone is there are a lot of things that need to come together for us to have quality of life and have longevity with that quality. And one of the things that I think gets overlooked is our mind and our limiting beliefs and the things that become blocks and traps for us from moving forward. And people put it aside and do all the other things, or they may have difficulty doing the other things, like sticking with a healthy lifestyle diet or sticking with exercise or, trying to sleep an extra couple of hours so they have the healthy REM sleep. Those kinds of things that are challenges for people, they don't really know how to unlock what's trapped up here to manifest and make this happen as, more of a natural change, should I say, or a natural way of living. So what you do is help people overcome that, and I love that. I'd like to hear a little bit about you and your background and why you're doing what you're doing today as a hypnotherapist and how you got into that, because you have a really interesting story, and I'd love for the audience to hear your story.
Yeah, kind of like the Grateful Dead lyrics, what a long, strange trip it's been. I grew up in the country on a ranch, and I didn't go to college right away. I went in the Marine Corps and got out of the Marine Corps and worked in the oil fields and a rock plant like Fred Flintstone, making little rocks out of big rocks. And then I was climbing telephone poles. And my brother was killed in a car accident, and it kind of woke me up. And I ditched all that, moved in with my mom, and went back to college. And I was in a hurry. I got through community college in a year and a half and transferred to the university, came to Sac State here in the state capital region of California, which is a nation state. As a government major, within one semester, I was a clerk in the legislature, and I put my senior year on my gold card. And so that started a 25-year career in politics. I went from clerk to consultant. I ran campaigns. After 10 years in the legislature, I went to work as a lobbyist for the Medical Association. I had been the health and insurance committee consultants, and then I went to work as a lobbyist for the Medical Association, did that for several years. And then I opened my own firm, and I represented clients in the automotive, petroleum, and energy sectors. And
stressful job.
It was, big stress. It was very exciting, and I love the strategy and the public policy, but the politics is dirty and ugly. And I got sick. I had cancer, papillary carcinoma, and I went the allopathic medicine route. I cut, burn, and poison, and so navigating that is what kind of changed everything. That brought me into my fourth life. And it began a 10-year spiritual awakening. And as I just wanted to get back to normal, not realizing that normal is what made me sick. So I had a friend who had gotten out of politics and opened a yoga studio, and she took me through therapeutic yoga for cancer and taught me about Ayurveda and my dosha and how to eat and live according to my own constitution. And, as a pitta, I'm fire. Alcohol, not so good.
No.
It's like throwing gasoline on the fire. So anyway, that's just an example of learning about myself and my constitution. And I teachers began to appear. I read books like Wayne Dyer's The Power of Intention, Carolyn Meese, Anatomy of the Spirit, Deepak Chopra's Quantum Healing, other teachers like Dr. Joe Dispenza, and others. And as they say, as you change the way you look at things, the things you look at begin to change. And so I was, I moved to LA from Sacramento for a while, and I was down there, and I'd taken a job as an executive director of a trade association, kind of similar work I was doing, and it ended after a year. They didn't renew my contract, and but that's a whole new story. But I'm like, well, now what? So I was divinely guided to go to this hypnotherapy college. It's right there in the valley in Tarzana. It's an amazing school, HMI, College of Hypnotherapy, and I had never been hypnotized. Of course, we all go into it.
Actually, have been to that school. I was hypnotized on that stage.
Nice.
I had one hypnotherapist actually on the show, like 6 or 7 years ago now that I remember. And she had invited me to come to a session, and we went into that big room where there was like audience seats and stuff. And I came up, there were like 4 of us that went up on stage. And I actually realized just now that I was there. Didn't remember that until just now. That's so funny. So that's where you went.
Yeah, that's where I went. And it was a great education. It's very thorough. I mean, there are people who get a certificate in a weekend, and they can take people into hypnosis, but that's not what I do.
No.
And that's not what they train. And
yeah, that was a long program, like 18 months or so for you, right?
Exactly.
Yeah,
and
exactly.
So, it's tough to start a practice at the outset. So I had taken a job on contract with a former client, and I covered 16 Western states for this automotive aftermarket company. And so when I wasn't traveling to, state capitals from Oklahoma to Hawaii and from Alaska to New Mexico, I was doing hypnosis in my office there on Olive Avenue by NBC Studios. And
did hypnosis help you through your healing of your cancer? Is that what I know one thing led to another that brought you to hypnosis, but personally, did it help you too before you started studying and getting into it for others?
Well, the power of the mind and the role of the mind. You see, what I learned on my cancer journey, and people, not everybody's ready to hear this, but we have a big role in the development of our own cancer.
Mm-hmm.
And
I believe that.
Understand, and it's a message. And if you don't hear and understand the message, you're likely to be reassigned. So there's a huge subconscious component to it. And as I began to learn that, that's what, inflamed my interest in hypnosis and the power of the subconscious mind. Joseph Murphy, The Power of the Subconscious Mind, another book I read, So I hadn't been hypnotized, but I was drawn to it. And once I began to learn about it, I loved it. And I'm on a personal mission to evangelize the power of the subconscious mind and to help as many people as I can in organic, non-invasive ways and non-chemical. You see, I've seen people go on the pills. It's a trap.
Mm-hmm. You couldn't agree more with you about that. I do believe we have the power to change our outcome through, now the part that I'm not that familiar with is changing our mindset, as well as what we feed our body, what you were talking about, finding out through our constitution, which is basically our genetics and what it is that we could and should be eating, and we have control over that too. So we have control what we put in our bodies and how we take care of it. And food is information again, and if we don't give it good information, it's not going to give us a good outcome. If we give it bad information, it's going to give us a not so good outcome. So I believe that wholeheartedly. So you use in your practice, because the whole thing behind hypnosis, there's two thoughts here. One is, you go see a show and there's a funny guy up on the stage who's hypnotizing people and telling them to act like a dog, and you're going to say I love you 15 times in a row, and people laugh at that. So there's this stigma behind it that it's just fun and games and there's no value to it at all. Will you talk about the value that there is to hypnosis?
Yeah, I'm uncomfortable by stage hypnosis because I'm very serious about what I do, and I have colleagues who I went to school with who, they do stage hypnosis, and it's great. It's awesome. It's entertainment. It's most people's introduction to hypnosis, and it is a demonstration of how powerful a tool it can be. But I'm very serious about my application of it. And but here's the thing: it's an easy mark for Hollywood and television writers because it's mysterious, and it's always been largely anecdotal because we didn't know what was going on, and so it was dismissed by the evidence-based medicine community as anecdotal and largely the power of the personality of the hypnotist. But now we have technology. We live in an overly technical society. And if the person that you're seeking help from doesn't have an alphabet soup behind their name, they're not necessarily qualified in the minds of many. And so it's easily dismissed by a lot of people, and they point to the stage shows and the entertainment factor. But we have functional MRI and CAT scans, and we know now there's research going on at Stanford by Dr. David Spiegel and others, and a lot of research going on in the UK. If you go to Google Scholar, there are thousands of research papers demonstrating the efficacy of hypnosis and hypnotherapy for a wide range of maladies. It's just there's no drug company publicizing it, so check it out. But here's what Dr. Spiegel says when asked about what's going on in the mind when someone is hypnotized. The research has demonstrated a drop in the activity in the dorsal anterior cingulate, part of the salience network of the brain. It's a context decoder, or in layperson's terms, a part of the brain that alerts you to what you should pay attention to and what you can ignore. This part of the brain, which fires up when there's something to worry about, actually calms down during hypnosis. A second change was observed in the dorsolateral prefrontal cortex, the part of the brain where you plan things and carry out routines. And the insula, a part of the brain that helps regulate body functions. These two parts of the brain began to syncing up in their connectivity, like altering blood pressure and heart rate. This suggests that during hypnosis, the brain intensifies its connection to the body. And we can see evidence of this when the hypnotized individual experiences a slower heart rate and rhythmic breathing, with a likely corresponding decrease in blood pressure. So,
wow. That's, yeah, there's some scientific proof there. You know what, Norman, we have our first phone call. So hold on one second. Caller, are you there?
Yes.
Hi, what is your name and where are you calling from?
Hi, my name's Brittany, and I'm calling from Central California.
Hi, Brittany. Thanks for calling in. Do you have a comment or a question for Norman today, or myself even?
Yeah, I just actually have a comment, a testimonial.
Oh, good.
I've used Norman's hypnotherapy services for my hypnobirthing for 3 children. It was an amazing experience. I really wanted to have my children without an epidural and all naturally. And going through sessions with each one of them, I was able to do that with all 3 of my children, and it was just amazing.
Fabulous. That's so impressive. Now, I wish I knew about hypnotherapy when because I did 2 natural births without any of that. And my daughter did a home birth about 16 months ago without any of that. So good to know. What ways? Go ahead.
It definitely is very helpful. I saw a lot of my friends at the time. Their labors were very long, and it really does speed up the process, because when you start putting drugs into your body, you can't send the message to the brain to release those endorphins and all the different hormones that you need to be able to push the baby out. And sometimes it results in C-section and going into surgery for emergency. So my first child was 8.5 hours of labor. I pushed for 24 minutes and she came out. My second one was 4.5 hours of labor. I pushed twice and she shot out like a football. The doctor caught her.
Lucky you.
And then my third was 1.5 hours, and I pushed once when I was standing up and then had to sit down and she was already crowning, so I pushed away.
Wow. And so the process, I mean, Norman, you can speak to this because obviously you worked with Brittany. Is the process something that you do do you put yourself in a state of hypnosis when you're in labor, or is it all the prep you do before? How does it work?
It's 6 weeks of sessions leading up to it, and teaching self-hypnosis and a hypno epidural. And so the sessions are recorded, and she listened to him. I think that the doctor was amazed when he heard she was listening to the session. And they're all very interested, you know. And so Lamaze is hypnosis, all right? So it's not unusual to engage your mind. It's just this is a little more elaborate, and it begins with the suggestion that if you knew that women in the rest of the world routinely gave birth outside of the hospital, would you believe it was available to you? And right, and so you set the foundation. You create the expectation, and then you lead your way into it. Again, back to that overly technical society we live in, right? So if we start from the premise that if you think you can, you're right, and if you think you can't, you're right. That's a pretty powerful premise, is it not?
Yeah. It's I think I can, the engine that could, that book. It's Brittany, are you still there?
I'm here.
Oh, you're there. Okay. That's really amazing. It's 2:22 on 2:22 right now. So I want to take 22 seconds, and then Norman, you're going to tell us the significance of 2:22. But I want to take 22 seconds right now for us to sort of manifest what it is that we want to see. That's got meaning here. 22 seconds. You can close your eyes. You can keep them open. We're going to take 22 seconds of silence. I'm going to count us down. And there it is, 22 seconds at 2:22. So, Brittany, you called it a great time. So, Norman, what is the significance of those numbers?
Well, the number 2 symbolizes harmony, kinship, love, relationships, and cooperation. It's a union of peace and between different entities. Master number 22, also known as the Master Builder, brings with it insight, talent, courage, intelligence, power, and charisma. And as the two stack up, it's more of the same. It's 222 is associated with personal activity and symbolizes positive thoughts and clarity. 2222 combines numbers. All those twos represents harmony and serenity in life. And so today is a very powerful Tuesday, 2/22/22. And some suggest in the astrological world that it opens a portal. And whether you believe in that or not, what we all can do is just make up our minds about what we need to be clear about and what you want to manifest. And so that 22 seconds should have been filled with what you want to manifest into your life. And you can continue throughout today and list down the aspects that you want to focus your energy on, such as health, finance, or more. Whatever is important to you. Visualize the factors that you want to channel your energies on. A vision board with images can help you imagine even better. So, doing that ideomotor connection between your brain and your hand And then creating the visual of a vision board is really, really powerful. Your intention should be followed by actions to see if the energy portal really worked. For instance, if you're looking for love or to join an app and see what's happened, or pursue higher studies, start an online course, or begin a new health regimen. I didn't say diet, notice that, but and then watch the pounds come away. So it's a time to put your mind to something and follow through on it and reap the rewards.
How apropos that you're our guest today. That's so wonderful. I love it. Brittany, so thanks for being with us at 2:22 and at 2 o'clock 22 minutes after 2.
Thank you for having me. I appreciate it. And Norman's amazing.
Yeah, I'm going to recommend him to my daughters as they continue to have their children, and because
I actually really wanted to do a home birth for my last one, but my husband's military and TRICARE didn't cover anything but a nurse practitioner, and there was none in the area, so I ended up having her at Naval Hospital. But that was the only thing I missed out on. I really wanted to do a home birth on my own.
Yeah.
So that's amazing that she did it. That's great. And I highly recommend hypnobirthing for all mothers, because our bodies were meant to do this, and we've been doing it for millenniums. And yes, there are times where it's, intervention is necessary, but if it isn't, don't cause the intervention through, the things in the hospital. So.
Yeah, I agree with you 100%. And, my kids are in their mid-30s, so 30 plus years ago, I was, fighting to have nobody intervene. I mean, don't hook me up to monitors, no IV. Don't tell me that, I had a 55-hour labor with my first one, and it was like they wanted to do a C-section, but yet myself and the baby were fine, but they wanted the bed, and so it just incensed me. But, I was able to raise my daughters with the same kind of ideology, educate yourself. My daughter and her husband went and educated themselves and made a full intention to have a home birth in a tub, but it took a long time. It took a long time because, she was a warrior, but, she tensed up. And for me, my second one, I started to have an anxiety attack because I thought I was going to go 55 hours again. So I had to do things to mentally calm myself down. So knowing that hypnosis is an option, which I didn't know 30 some odd years ago, is a fabulous thing, and I'm really inspired by you to send the message on to my daughters, and I think that's really commendable. So thank you for calling in today.
And one last thought.
Yeah.
The other thing that he did for me was he told me not to listen to anybody else's birthing stories to make sure that I could create my own birthing story, and he asked me what I wanted my birthing story to be like, and it almost to the T. Your brain is very powerful. So he walked me through my ideal birthing experience, and I got that. So
wow,
that's
good.
That's another tremendous thing.
Wow,
your mind is very, very, very powerful.
Yeah, just what we were saying about what this 222 means today. Well, thank you for calling in and sharing that. That means a lot, and I hope people benefit from that. So thank you so much. Have a great day.
Absolutely, me too. Thanks for having me. You too.
Norman, we have so much more to talk about. We're going to take a break from one of my sponsors really quick, and we're going to pick up where we left off and keep going through and get all these questions answered, okay? We'll be right back after this first message from one of my sponsors. If you have a business, you need a website. What's the best way to get a website up and running? Choose a website hosting company that makes it simple, like Pair Networks. Pair has over 20 years of experience managing the entire digital ecosystem for thousands of online businesses all around the world. Pair makes it easy for you with do-it-yourself website building tools and features, including simple drag-and-drop page design, and they have guaranteed U.S.-based support technicians to help you whenever you need it, 24 hours a day, 365 days a year. Right now, when you sign up with Pair Networks, that's PAIR Networks, you'll receive 1 month free of web hosting. See for yourself how easy it is to build your website for free. Visit pair.com/free to get your first month of website hosting for free by using the code QUICKSTART, uppercase QUICKSTART. That's pair.com/free, promo code QUICKSTART to get started today. All right. There's my secret audience that hides in the walls of the studio. Thank you guys for being here. All right. So I'm wondering, Norman, can anyone be hypnotized?
So back to Dr. Spiegel, the research that he's done shows it's 80-20. In my 7 years of experience, over 10,000 hours and growing, anyone who wants to be can be.
So again, it's the power of the mind. You have to be willing, basically, to let go. Because I would imagine that for people who meditate and have meditation in their life, to be hypnotized is just one more step from that, and it would be easier for them. And people who resist sort of easing the mind and calming the mind and meditating might resist the process of hypnosis. Is that true?
Perfect analogy. The hypnosis is just a fine line away from deep meditation. And so the meditators always go in very easily and very quickly. And it's really, like you said, it's the power of the mind. And so here's where the problem comes. People unconsciously believe that they want to get over something. And so they've heard stories and they follow up on it and they think hypnotism and hypnosis can serve them, but there's hidden resistance because the subconscious mind runs your body and wants to keep it into homeostasis. Ask any 5-year-old who's threatened suicide by holding his breath if that's going to work. See, the subconscious mind brings the body back to 98.6. It handles all the involuntary muscles and breathing and all of that stuff. And it has a similar approach to behavior. So if you have an experience that was scary or threatening, you are going to develop a response to it. Now, the person who threatened you could be dead. The threat is long gone, but the behavior persists because the subconscious mind fears the pain of the original experience. And so that's where we can unconsciously resist ourselves. And so that's where I come in, I spot resistance and I help people overcome it. And usually people come in for something it's not what it really is. A good example of that is I get middle-aged women who having trouble losing that last 10, 15 pounds. And it really is not about the weight. The weight it's a layer of protection, emotional protection from the outside world. And invariably it comes down to some of their traumas that we explore. And, we do some regression stuff back to earlier times in their lives. And when things happened and they developed maladaptive responses and these feelings get repressed. See, memory is unreliable. We don't remember the actual details, but we remember how it made us feel. And so that feeling gets imprinted in our body, mm-hmm. and we hold on to it.
Yeah.
And so really getting clear on what the experience was that may have led to the subsequent behavior is the key. One of the most important things I was taught at HMI was not to go at things symptomatically because it's temporary relief. Mm-hmm. If you got to drill down to cause. And turns out after you do this for a while, you can spot the cause pretty quickly. And we're humans. We have very similar experiences. And so there's nothing magical about it, nor am I, something special. I just have done enough of it and spoken to enough people to see where the patterns begin to emerge and how certain things lead to other things like, maladaptive behaviors. And I always ask, are you ready to write a new story? Are you ready to let go of this? because oftentimes we hold on to things for what's called secondary gain. You're getting something from it, whether it's sympathy or attention. Or I had a client who stuttered, and so she was 17 and ready to stop stuttering. And so we had a couple sessions, and then she gave me a clue. She said, how was your week? Well, my brother was back from Stanford, and we got in a fight. And my mom and me got in a fight with him. And I'm like, oh, your brother's at Stanford? Tell me about your brother. Oh, he's there on a scholarship. He's, really good in sports. I'm like, oh, okay. So he's got a big personality. He's a golden boy. He sucked the oxygen out of every room he ever went into? Yeah. Well, it turns out she started to stutter. It was the only way she could get attention away from her brother. And when the brother moved away to college, she was ready to give it up, and she did very easily, because it wasn't about the stuttering. It was about getting attention. So see, it's
interesting.
So
yeah,
much
what
fun.
comes out. That's really fascinating. I have to say, you do have a sample hypnosis session on your website that people can click onto, and I did last night. And it's about 24 minutes, I think. And so I lost about 15 minutes because I think I fell asleep. Or something and then I woke up and it was like, wait, are we starting from the beginning? I didn't know where we were. I knew I would. So does that mean I fell into hypnosis at some point? I'm not sure if I fell asleep. I know I heard you.
Yeah.
So
hypnosis means sleep in Greek, but it's not sleep. It's the dream state. So you opened your eyes when 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 eyes open wide awake. You opened your eyes.
Yes.
I have people snore, and they'll say, I think I fell asleep. I'm like, why? Why do you say that? And they said, well, I heard myself snore. I said, well, when you're sleeping at night, do you hear yourself snore? No. So snoring is an extension of deep relaxation, not sleep. So hypnosis is deep relaxation with a focused concentration. And so there's also time distortion. So you lost that 15 minutes you thought you were asleep. It's just time distortion. And you're in the dream world. You're likely in delta, theta waves, and the brain is in the dream state. And so there's 3 stages of hypnosis. There's hypnoidal, which you go into. Hypnoidal hypnosis is when you're driving home from work and you pull into the driveway and you don't remember the trip. That's hypnoidal hypnosis. Advertisers know that, because that's why drive time radio is so expensive. And so then there's catalepsy. And catalepsy is characterized by your hands and feet going to sleep, just like when you sleep at night. Mm-hmm. Catalepsy is a physiological response so that you don't hurt yourself or someone sleeping next to you when you're slaying the dragon in your dreams. And so when most people, I work in catalepsy. And then there's somnambulism, when it's characterized by amnesia. Most people don't remember. And so I don't like to take people that deep. That's where you take people when you do anesthesia. So you want to just knock them out, take them deep, deep, deep into hypnosis, not so they don't remember anything. That's where you want to go with that anesthesia.
Instead of anesthesia, you're saying?
Yes, exactly.
Yeah, instead of
hypnoanesthesia.
Wow,
yeah. So
that's brave.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of people who dental work. They don't tolerate the drugs and whatnot. And so, but catalepsy is where I work. So it's the dream world. You'll hear, and then you'll drift and float. I like to describe it like, think of your mind as your conscious mind as a Labrador retriever, and I throw a stick, and your conscious mind is off chasing the stick, and then I speak to your lower subconscious mind. And you can also think of it as an iceberg. The conscious mind is just the tip of the iceberg, and it's characterized by analysis, reason, logic, decision-making, willpower. It's the parts that we think is in control, but here's what happens. The conscious mind takes the environmental stimulus and input and compares it to your programming. And if it doesn't comport with your programming, the conscious mind will come up with an elaborate rationalization. Another good example is smoking. Right? You're not born liking cigarettes. In fact, the first couple you smoked, you probably choked and hacked on. But somewhere along the line, your programming made it okay, because you saw it on TV or someone you looked up to or peer pressure. And so now you're smoking, and you look at the box, and on the box it says, the Surgeon General says, if you keep smoking these things, they're going to kill you. And yet you come up with this rationalization like, well, Aunt Sally smoked 2 packs a day and she lived till she was 93. Or I was going to die anyway. I'll just be old then, or whatever. So these are the rationalizations that the conscious mind will come up with, even though it knows deep down that you're killing yourself one cancer stick at a time. But
I have that a lot with my clients, because most of my clients come to me to lose weight, and because they want to start a diet regimen, a lifestyle regimen that is different than the one that they have been doing all these years and it's not working. And they always say, but I know better. I don't know why I ate that way that all week. I know better, and so I can see how this type of therapy can really help with those kinds of things.
I'm going to give you a little gift here. It's a little visualization that you can help your weight loss clients with. And you don't have to take them into hypnosis. We just, help them relax it, have them close their eyes, do some deep breathing in through the nose and out through the mouth. And you can even count them down 10 steps into, and then have them open up into a large meadow, and they come upon a bonfire. And as they approach the bonfire, they notice they're wearing a big heavy coat, and have them reach into the pocket of the coat and pull out the piece of paper with the name of the person that hurt them and the thing that they did, and have them go through that several times, then reach into the other pocket. Now take all the pieces of paper of all the names of the people who've hurt you and what they did and throw them on the fire. See the smoke, smell the smoke, see the flames. Now take off that heavy coat. You don't need it anymore. Take off that heavy coat and throw it on the fire.
Oh, the things that are weighing you down. I love it. Throw them in the fire. Get rid of them.
And then walk them over to the stream, have them stand under the waterfall, the cascading healing waters of cleansing and purifying. It's not about the food.
No, it never is.
It's emotional.
Yeah. Wow. That's very powerful. Very powerful. I want to, you know what, I'm going to go to the last break right now, but when we come back, I want to talk about cancer and hypnosis. How I know you have a whole book that you wrote about it, and then we're going to talk about how people can get a hold of you and about your books, because I think you're writing your 3rd book, if I'm not mistaken. So, because you're just so much full of great information for us. All right, we'll be right back after this last message from one of my sponsors. Without looking at labels, do you actually know what is in the cleaning products that you use in your home? If you haven't addressed this yet, it's likely that you are spraying toxic and dangerous chemicals in your home. 3 common ingredients that you want to avoid at all costs are ammonia, fragrance, and bleach. These ingredients and chemicals can contribute to chronic respiratory problems, allergic reactions, allergies, cancer, hormonal issues, headaches, and more. So what's the solution to a healthier, clean home for your family? Teas Organics, all-purpose cleaner and room sprays. Tea's products are formulated with the power of an essential oil blend. Her all-purpose cleaner gives you a clean surface, shower, toilet, or simply just use it to spot clean or dust, and all without harsh chemicals. And to make it even better, Tea's Organics all-purpose cleaner uses 100% organic essential oils and has a sweet yet spicy herbal aroma with hints of citrus. Imagine a fresh, inviting scent and sparkling clean home that you know is free from toxic, potentially harmful, and cancer-causing chemicals. I use these products, and I can personally attest to all of the above. And right now, enjoy a 15% discount by applying 15DEBBI, DEBI, to your order. So check out these amazing products by Tea's Organics that are healthy for you and your home. All right, last break. We are with my guest, Norman Plotkin. And Norman is a hypnotherapist and works with his clients so they can tap into the power of their subconscious mind to help them with many things in life that we've been talking about. But I'm curious, Norman, how does hypnosis apply to cancer?
Well, the allopathic approach to cancer is to cut, burn, and poison.
Mm-hmm.
and the fight against cancer. These are your cells. We all have mutations, and there's something happens, and the immune system is unable to address the mutations, and cancer is nothing more than a runaway mutation. So there was a physician named Dr. Carl Simonton, who was a radiological oncologist, and he saw a lot of people, and he came up with the theory that when we repress these emotions, the trauma is cumulative, and so we repress these emotions, and it becomes too much. The emotional pain is too much, and the subconscious mind perceives death as a way out, and it begins to modulate your immune system in a negative way. And that's when we're unable to contend with the mutations that exist in our bodies. Now, there are environmental hazards and exposures, but the body is pretty resilient. And why does one person get it and one person doesn't, and they're exposed to the same thing? And that's where the emotional aspect of this comes in. And so I mentioned before, cancer is a message. It's a message about something, about what's going on in your life, what your experience is, what are you holding on to. So the hypnotherapy comes in a number of different places. First of all, some of the cancer clients that I worked with in the past, it's visualization. I've done elaborate visualizations where they visualize their tumor and visualize it shrinking. I can take them into the control room of their mind and sit at the table and dial down the pain and dial up the immune response, and it gets even more elaborate, and we won't go too far into it. But just imagine the control room and imagine yourself in the control room of your mind. I do pre-surgery, post-surgery for cancer clients and others as well, where you trust your medical team and you envision your body cooperating fully with the medical team and their procedures, and you trust them. Their years and years of training and the practice, and the thousands of people who are better as a result of their treatments and whatnot. And it's that engagement, full-on engagement with your body, cooperating, mind, body, spirit. Because fear is deadly. And you see your doctor for 5 minutes, and the doctor doesn't go home with you at 10 o'clock when the walls begin to move in and when you have questions that are scary. And so, visualization, relaxation, meditation. I wanted to call my first book The Unwrapped Gift, but my publisher said, Norm, cancer probably was a gift for you, but how long did it take you to figure that out? And I said, yeah, it was a few years. She said, if you want to help people, you got to meet them where they are. And when you're in the middle of the cancer, you're not thinking it's a gift. I'm like, yeah, you're right. So instead it became Take Charge of Your Cancer, the 7 proven steps to healing and recovery. And those 7 steps are empowering instead of disempowering. Getting a second opinion and going where you're told are disempowering. Here's what's empowering. Learn to meditate, radically change your diet, deepen your spirituality, commune with your subconscious mind, have a reason to live. Don't just not want to die. That's fear-based. Release your repressed emotions. And finally, take charge of your healthcare. No one has more skin in the game than you do. And so being involved, reading the reports and asking the questions and keeping a file, these are the things that are going to help you. And so here's another place where hypnotherapy comes in. Change is hard. And to change one thing is difficult. To change 7 things, it's nearly impossible without some kind of secret weapon like hypnotherapy.
Right. Wow. That's so powerful. So powerful. I have people that I would like to recommend to go to you. You also, and we only have a few minutes left here, but you also are in tarot card readings. Do you want to talk a little bit about that, what you do, and how it's applied, the practical applications for that?
Sure. So I'm not the type who could learn tarot from a gypsy on a blanket in the park. I learned from a psychologist who wrote his doctoral dissertation on tarot and psychology, and he's written 4 subsequent books. And so the tarot cards are esoteric knowledge that was driven underground during times when it was dangerous to have knowledge that countered what the church said. And so the cards are merely a representation of pathways to the collective conscious mind. The Jungian analysis, shows that the archetypes are present in all of us. We know instinctively the teacher, the helper, the healer. These are archetypes that we all know without having the need for elaborate explanation. And so the tarot allows us as an avenue into the collective consciousness and our connection to it. We're all connected. We are all connected.
Yes.
And so we understand the world through a dual nature, right? Most of us need to understand hate so that we can know love, good so we can know bad, night so we can know day. This is the dual nature of life. But as we grow and we expand and we transcend, we can move toward what's known as individuation. And with individuation, it's that you become a citizen of the universe, a fully connected member of the collective, and you can read people, you can understand, you can tap into so many of our capabilities that we're numb to these days because our head is in our phone, or 1,000 other reasons why we're disconnected from our subtle connections with everyone. In fact, when our little personalities begin to form at 12, 13 years old, we become separate, and it says that adolescent angst of separation, and then we go about the rest of our lives thinking that we're separate, and that's the biggest mistake we could ever make, because we are all connected. This whole 6-foot social distancing BS I pick up your heart energy at 6 feet. I feel you. You ever known somebody standing behind you? You know it.
Yeah.
You feel them.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. We are all connected. We're all connected. There's an electrical current that runs through all of us collectively. So obviously, you've got some wonderful ways and things that you can help. You can help people with so many different aspects of what's going on in their lives. How can people get a hold of you? And I know that you're here in California, up north. You work with people anywhere in the world?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Yep. I've done Zoom sessions with people all over the world, Scotland, England, Australia, Canada. And so Zoom is even more robust and powerful today,
yes,
after what we just went through, than
yes,
ever before. So
for me too.
My brand is my name. So normanplotkin.com is my website. My socials are either Norman Plotkin CHT on IG or Norman Plotkin Inc. on Facebook. I'm on LinkedIn as well. That's kind of the business aspect of it. And again, I'm in the Sacramento area where I see clients in my office, but I also do virtual stuff. I also lead a free virtual meditation on Saturday nights, 7:30 p.m. Pacific time. Right now, we're going through a course of meditation in the meridians. I'm partnered with an acupuncturist, a doctor of traditional Chinese medicine, and we're explaining the meridians and then doing a meditation where you visualize activating your meridians. And so that's really cool. We do that by Zoom.
Very cool.
It's free, and it's Saturday nights, and it's an hour from 7:30 to 8:30.
So people can sign up for that by going to your website, correct?
That's right. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Go to my website, and there's a link to it, and
yeah,
you just get the Zoom address, and you can just join us without signing in or signing up or anything. You just join it, and
fabulous.
Yeah, we started it during the height of the lockdowns and everything, where a lot of people were home. Saturday nights are tough to get, but we have people come and go and join in and stuff, and it's really valuable.
Oh, I was just going to say that.
I also do group Zoom sessions periodically that I advertise in my social media stuff.
Oh, good. So people can follow you and see when those come about. And to get your books, you're on Amazon and your website, those two places.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
So Take Charge of Your Cancer, the 7 Proven Steps to Healing and Recovery. And the second book is Mastermind, Master Life. The third book is going to be called The Compass. We didn't really get into that, but as we move from Pisces to Aquarius, we're moving from the patriarchy to a feminine energy, from Newtonian mechanics to the quantum field. And we're all going to need to learn emotional intelligence. And so look for The Compass coming soon.
Okay. Wow. Very cool. Very cool. Well, you guys heard it. You need to get a hold of Norman here and have him help you, because we could all use some tune-ups here and some help with what's ever going on. I know everybody can find where they're stuck in their life. Norman, I'm going to have you leave us with some final thoughts.
I love what I do. I found my soul's purpose, and it took a tragedy to bring it about. So I'm grateful for all of that. Just remember Occam's razor. The simplest explanation is usually always the best. And if you begin every day quiet and still for as long as you can, if you can get 10 minutes in, start with 3. If you can get to 10, great, because we have 60 to 70,000 thoughts every day, and 90% of them are the same as they were yesterday. And to break that avalanche, to break out of that well-worn path, you need to be quiet and still. You got to shake the Etch-a-Sketch for a few minutes every morning, and it will pay dividends in your life.
I love that. I love that analogy, the Etch-a-Sketch. Thank you so much. Thank you for your time and your expertise and your knowledge, imparting that to my listeners. And I want to thank you, my audience, for being here today. I hope this was of value to you. Go ahead and make a comment. Again, you can still ask questions. Just scroll down right there onto my Facebook page, or go to my Instagram, or to the YouTube channel when the show comes up within the week. So thank you so much. I want you all to keep going out and finding those conversations that connect to a healthier you. All right, bye everybody. See you in 2 weeks. Bye. Enjoy 222.